It's Powerback time on the Gutsy podcast. Each episode brings you 5 minutes of condensed inspiration to reclaim the courage and momentum you've unintentionally given away. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Welcome to this week's Powerback episode. We're going to talk about undoing your social media tools. What does that even mean? Like, Laura, how do you undo the tools that you're using? I'm so glad that you asked. Look, along your journey, along your path, as you are taking on new platforms and new ways to market and communicate about your business, inevitably, you end up inheriting and taking on a bunch of tools and apps that you utilize for your business. Typically, the goal for these things is to make it easier to market, to make it easier to be proactive, to make it easier to stay ahead of the game in your business, or just to simplify the way that you're doing things, right? Like, the reason that we download business apps is to help us, not hinder. That's where the undoing comes into play. Because when is the last time that you took an inventory of all the different tools that you're using for your business? That's where we're going to start today. We're digging right into this, okay? So today's assignment, today's challenge is to go through all of your tools and say, do I use this? Or when is the last time I logged into this? If it's one of those, well, I was going to, but then this came up and that came up. Look, if you've had it for more than 6 months and have not opened it since you downloaded it, it's time to let it go. It's literally just taking up space, not only in your memory on your phone or on your computer, but it's also taking up capacity for your mind. Now you might be saying, okay, Laura, how is it taking up capacity in my mind if I'm not even utilizing it? Guess what? It's like a tab that's always running in the back of your mind. It's like saying, you know what? One of these days I'm going to get to that. One of these days I'm going to try it. One of these days I'm actually going to use this. And guess what? One of these days come and one of these days go. It's like that t-shirt that you keep swearing that you're going to wear again, but it's been hanging in your closet for a decade. It's time to just let it go, release it. Now, here's the beneficial thing with apps and programs. If you change your mind later, you can just re-download it. But right now, the focus is on cleansing your plate, cleansing your phone, and saying, okay, what tools actually work for me? I know how frustrating it can be to want to post on social media, but also don't want to be tied down to having to do it every single day. If Instagram is part of your social strategy, I know that the grid is also a big part of your brand. How do you plan this stuff out and keep it on brand while also creating a very organic and natural and welcoming place for your customers to find you? Insert Planoly. Planoly is a social planning tool. There's an app and a desktop version, and basically it allows you to upload all of your graphics and photos and let it live out in space until you are ready to plan it out and schedule it out. It allows you to drag and drop things around so you can see how they look together, and you can schedule your posts and now also reels as well. Planoly has absolutely taken me out of a reactive state and put me in a proactive place. So instead of, oh shit, I need to post today, I know that it's taken care of. Head to the show notes and click on the Planoly link to start your free trial today. The second step of this is to say, okay, I'm utilizing these. Are there any that are doing the same thing where I may be overpaying? At one point, I think I had 2 or 3 different systems that I was using to operate my business and was spending a couple $100s a month to utilize these. And one day I was like, okay, look, I really need to look at my numbers and understand where things are going. Where can I minimize some of my expenses? I took an intentional hour or 90 minutes and realized that I was utilizing way too many things and overpaying because I found one program that did the same thing that all 3 of them did for literally like a quarter of the cost. This is the power of pausing and getting into your business, looking at things through a business lens instead of hustling and moving and constantly moving forward. It's so powerful to just literally stop for a second and say, let me take an inventory of all of the tools that I'm using. Now, if it's helpful, I've got a couple of tools that I love, and by no means does this mean that because they work for Laura, that means that I must use them as well, or that they will automatically work for me too. Look, there are different tools, different platforms, different apps for every single business. And I want to stress that it is important, so fucking important, to find the tools that work best for you, your goals, and the way that you operate your business. These are just some of the ones that I have gone through a bunch and said, you know what, these ones work really well. I'm going to hang on to them. So, first, probably my favorite tool and the one that I utilize the most is Monday.com. So, basically, this is a project management system. It's got an app, it's got a desktop user face that you can log into the web. But basically, my entire team uses this, and it allows us to organize projects and timelines and notes, and we communicate about specific projects within threads inside of Monday instead of exchanging 7,000 emails to each other. It keeps us organized, it keeps us on time, and it keeps all the information in one place. So Monday for me is a no-brainer. In fact, this is the tool that I was talking about earlier, the one that I said I found one thing that did the same that all three did and cost me a whole lot less money. Yeah, Monday, completely worth it. The second tool that I love is called Hootsuite. So Hootsuite allows you to schedule out your social media for pretty much every platform, including Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure that there are more, but those are the ones that I utilize the most. And the reason that this is so helpful is because it allows you to be proactive in scheduling out content versus being in, oh shit, I haven't posted in 2 weeks, let me throw something out real quick. So when you're talking about creating a marketing strategy or a social media strategy, this tool really helps you to get in place and stay proactive and get your message out in front of the right people. Third, the last social media tool that I absolutely cannot live without is called Planoly. So Planoly is specifically for Instagram, and it allows you to upload tons of photos at once. It allows you to upload carousels, which is when you can swipe through different images in the same post. It allows you to auto post reels and video content and schedule out your posts and schedule out your stories. And gosh, Planoly is such a great tool, especially if you're visual, because it works in a drag and drop system. So if you upload, let's say you upload 10 photos, you can literally just click on a photo and drag it around and readjust the way that your grid looks. And now you can schedule out your reels, which is huge and relatively new. It takes you out of that, like, oh, there's a notification to tell you now you need to go do this, which doesn't seem like a lot of time, but if you do that a couple of times a day or a few times a week, it really starts to add up. So the fact that I can upload my real content on there with my captions, with my hashtags, and it will auto post for me, take my money. And lastly, if you're looking for a free tool, if you're using Facebook and Instagram specifically heavily for your business, a free tool is the Meta Business Suite. So if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically Facebook's, we'll call it Meta now, it's their app to manage your business pages, which is pretty cool. Also, total side note, with Hootsuite and Planoly, something I forgot to mention, and it works the same with Meta, is you can manage multiple accounts. So let's say you have a company page, but then a personal brand page. That works really well. Perhaps you are someone that manages other people's accounts. You can have multiple accounts within one account. So huge perk for all of these. But Meta Business Suite has an app for your phone. It also works on the desktop, but you can also schedule content out with this for Facebook and Instagram specifically. Now, there's a bunch more tools and a lot more resources that I utilize to run my business, but these are ones that come top of mind that really add value to help simplify my business. So when you go to look for apps or products or services to say, how can I streamline my business? My number one recommendation is this: know what you need before you go looking for it. Meaning, what do I need to streamline? What do I need this thing to do for me? How can something help me be more efficient? And then go look for it, because otherwise you'll get lost in the weeds of 7 bajillion apps, and then you're going to get those weird redirect ads on Facebook telling you to buy this thing, and it gets really hairy. So know what you need and then go look for the product or service to help you with it. I'll also mention that we have conversations like this inside the Gutsy Collective. So we share tools and resources and hey, here's how this works. And oh, I didn't like that because of these things. And it really just helps you to understand ways that other people are running their business successfully so that you can make an educated decision based on what works best for you. So if you're interested in joining the Gutsy Collective, go to lauraora.com. You can sign up for a free 14-day trial, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. I am also stoked as shit about next week's episode of the Gutsy podcast. We are talking about tapping. So if you're not familiar with the concept of tapping, or maybe you've kind of heard about it, it is a powerful, energetic practice that helps you to move energy through and out of your body. So if that's your jam, or I just kind of piqued your interest, next week's episode number 127, Tapping to Heal, Grow, and Expand. Make sure to come say hi on TikTok or Instagram. Find me at that Laura Aura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.